Hello!
You're doing in my fucking house, Kieran!
That's just half the day's coffee beans in here, eh?
Right, if I'm thirsty, it's not.
Alright. Welcome back to another video. There's still heaps to do on this thing, so let's get into it. Alright boys, here's a few shots of the freshly installed converter pressure regulator from ATF Speed. That shiny blue thing there is the new governor cover that they supply, and that's where the regulator dumps trans fluid into. So the regulator takes its feed from the bottom of the trans cooler outlet here, and that is directly connected to the converter charge circuit. So what we're trying to do with this regulator is drop the pressure in the converter to stop the converter pushing forward on the crank to try and keep the thrust bearing alive in these things. It's a bit of a problem with LSs and Turbo 400s specifically, but you can see it basically comes out of the trans and then tees off, and one side goes, you can't really see, but there's a braided line just up there, so it tees off into that braided line and runs back through into the bottom of that reg. And then I think the reg's set at about 100 PSI. It comes preset from ATF Speed, and it dumps any excess just into the governor here, which is sort of near the rear of the trans, right next to the pan. So yeah, that's how it works. They supply everything you need. It's actually, I'm really impressed with the kit. Like I said, it was about 600 Australian landed. Once you factor in the shipping and stuff, it's about 350 US. So super stoked. I've just got to head down to Bunnings and pick up an 11/16 spanner, which I for some reason don't have, just to nip up all these little fittings and stuff. They're all just kind of snug at the moment, but not 100% tight. So yeah, pretty stoked with that. It's just all automatic. There's a few little bungs in that there if I want to, if I ever want to hook up a gauge or whatever and see what the converter pressure is, but I trust them. It looks good. So I will have to get one more fitting for this, which is a -6, and I'll have to, previously I wasn't using like an AN style fitting for the cooler hoses, so there's the cooler feed up there. It's just waiting, so I'll just have to pick up one of those fittings and that job will be done. Well, it's been a busy Christmas. Today's a new day. We're gonna go and pick up some fuel fittings from Motorsport Accessories in Brendale, and that'll be that. It's on the way. It'll probably be like a year or two though. Yeah. I'll do like stock bottom end shitter.
Yeah. Perfect.
With the blower.
Yeah. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's all you need? Yeah. Oh yeah, on these two.
All right, always love popping in there. We picked up a couple of fittings and a length of hose that we're going to need to finish off the fuel system. So we're going to head back to where the car is now, back to Clayton's place, and we're going to go fit that stuff up and get the fuel system in a state where it's ready to have fuel in it. All right, here we are at Clayton's place. Wouldn't be expecting him to be awake. It is before midday. Ha! Just as I thought. Asleep. So over the holidays, I have been pretty busy with the fuel system. So I'm going to take you around and show you what we got going on here. So this is the feed. This is from the pump, right? So I got this little bulkhead installed. I was going to run it through up the back there and come around sort of to meet that feed there, but I ended up deciding to not do that because I couldn't get a really good sort of hose route that I liked. So ended up popping it up through there. So we just had to go and pick up an extra meter of hose so that we can connect that bad boy to that bad boy, and we'll just flip that 90 around. I'll get under here and show you the hose route. So there is, there's the catch can. There's where the hose pops up, and we've got it routed just sort of beside, pretty much following the frame rail. So it comes up through there. So there's the rear of the car. You can see it coming up the left-hand sill, and it comes up through those pre-drilled holes there, up the frame, and kind of zigzags through until it gets up there. Now, I think that's a pretty good routing. I had to chop off like this much, so we had the perfect amount of hose for that. Like I said, just picked up an extra meter. But what that's going to do is future-proof this thing for when it gets a header tank. And a header tank is like a fuel tank up the front, and use it in the blown, like mechanically injected mainly applications, and eventually that's the direction that this is heading in. So it's future proof for that, and it's sort of tucked up out of the way. So that's the route we're going with. We just got to fit off the last meter here, and that is fuel system done. So we got the gasket remade. for that and fitted. So now all that's left is wire up this bad boy, which we'll do today. And that is fuel system done. And that's very, very exciting. So that's ready to get fuel in it. Oh, I do need to get some fuel cell foam, but we'll do that later. The other thing we're going to do today is finish off the transmission. So we're going to put the, I've got a little hose end for it, and that'll be happy days. So let's get into that. These things have a natural curve, so I'm just going to go and check that the routing of the hose is going to match the curve that I need it to take. Yeah, well, wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? It's right. Now, we can do the bastard up. Awesome. Finally done. Oh, yeah. All right. So there's the final routing. We're coming out of that bulkhead, just cruising through here, and then up into the fuel reg. So, I don't know. There's probably 10 million ways to do that, but that's the way I chose to do it, and yeah, fucking mint. The engine bay plumbing is nearly sorted. You would have seen this 120 degree bend here, so that bit's all sorted. That's rocked up. It's just a dash 10 straight into the oil bung. I've already talked about it. Just got it off eBay. It was like 15 bucks. So stoked with that. I've just got to get some caps. The caps are going to go on here and just back there. And then we've got, so we'll have the valley vented and also the driver's side rocker cover. I'm going to crawl under the car again and do up that final hose end for the trans cooler. So we might go do that, hey? Oh man! I'm just screwing on that hose end. I'm just having a look at it because it might be shooting straight into one of the exhaust header pipes, but we'll have a look. Oh man, it kind of is. It is now 12:07 and I've just heard Clayton laughing in the kitchen. Alright, cool. So that's all done. There is the fitting that we just put in, and yeah, so it's sweet. It's fucking sweet. Alright, here's a good shot of what we just done. I put a clamp over the two hoses. I'll see if I can get a shot of it. Man, I'm a contortionist, eh? Anyway, that black thing there is holding the hoses quite well. So it's like a clamp, you can sort of see it there. That black thing. Anyway, it's holding the hoses away from the exhaust. Power crew's just gone. It was basically touching. See where that big dent is there? The hose was pretty much resting on there, so thought I'd move it away. But there's the top and the bottom. And there you can see that goes off to the regulator, and this goes off to the transcooler. And then there's the top, the return. The bottom is the feed, or it's coming straight from the pump of the trans, and then it goes through the cooler and then returns through this hose. I'll give you guys a sneak peek at what the transcooler setup is on this car. So we've got the hoses coming through just up the side of the frame here. They're just sort of hanging here. Like, I'll probably need to do something about that in future, but we got the feed and the return heading up into this transcooler. Now, I think it is, I got it from Aeroflow, or like it's an Aeroflow brand, but it has, I'll see if I can sneak in here, it has a fan built into it, and that fan is controlled by this temperature switch. Now, I don't have the figures on me or whatever, but this is the feed here. So it comes up, feeds in through the bottom, and all the hot fluid would just pump through, you know, straight up there and hits this temperature sensor. So the fresh hot fluid that comes straight from the trans gets pumped into this bottom hose, pushes out all the air, if there's any air in there, and it gets a straight shot basically at the temp that's the temp of the fluid that's in the pan. And that's what you want. So when you're putting these things in, make sure it's oriented the right way. You can imagine if this was up the top, wherever the top is in there, it could get sort of surrounded by an air bubble. Just think about, you know, if this was completely empty, and think about it filling up. It can sort of get to the top, and then the sensor might not get the hot fluid. But anyway, that's that. So that fan is set to automatically come on, which is awesome. It's a kit. You buy it, well, not a kit, but it just comes with the fan and the transcooler, all the fittings and stuff that you need. I think I don't know, might have paid, it was like less than $200, and it's a big beefy cooler. Actually, there's the top of it. It goes right to the top. Like, there's the top of the car, and it comes right the way down here. So it's a big bloody thing. Which is what you need. You know, you've got a trans brake and a high stall, you need a big one of these, and it's just added protection that it's got its own fan, and I don't have to switch it on or off. Like, I don't have a manual switch for it. It just automatically, when it gets hot, it turns the fan on. So that's that. Guys, I am going to sign it off here. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to start this thing up. All I need is a battery. We need to bolt in the fuel system and put some methanol in, and it is ready to go. So that transmission regulator's installed. We've got the AEM wideband installed, and we've got the carb rebuilt. We've got a full 100% new fuel system, and it is ready to start back up. And we're going to get a video of that. So in the next sort of month or so, we're going to take this to the strip. I haven't picked a date yet, but I'll let you guys know once I do. We've got to we'll get these tires fitted up, and get some fuel, and we'll go out there and we'll try and get some numbers out of this thing. So I'm super stoked for that. But I'll catch you guys on the next video. Let me know how you think these videos are going. I am trying to get better with the editing and that sort of thing. So I love hearing from you guys. That next video is going to be released on the 16th of January. So that's a Saturday, the 16th. That'll be the startup video. That'll be up on YouTube on the 16th. So look out for that one, guys. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next one on the 16th.